How much more would you do if you were productive? How much more would you achieve if you are productive? In this video, I'm going to share with you the tools I use to be more productive. Now, everyone's definition of productivity is different. I don't want just to achieve things, right? To get things done and to have check marks on the things that I want to get done for the day. I want it to be meaningful. There's an interesting way of looking at productivity. For some people, they focus so much on activity, as in doing something. I never want to confuse activity with accomplishment, because sometimes just because you're busy doesn't mean you're attaining your goals. So the big part for me is making sure I know what my goals are for the day. What is it that I want to achieve today? But most importantly, what is the most important thing, or what are the most important things I need to achieve today? And the reason I look at my productivity from that perspective is because I only have so much bandwidth. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm an early riser. My wife hates it, but I'm an early riser, so my energy is highest at the earliest part of the day. By the time I get to 3 p.m., my plane comes in for a landing. I'm essentially done from between 3 and 5 or 6 p.m. So I'm high energy in the earlier part of the day, low energy at the end of the day. I don't want to make decisions or work really hard or require more brain power at the end of the day. The reason I don't want that to happen is because I know my energy will be at its lowest. In order for you and I to be productive, we need to know what our prime time is. That's my first tip. Know what your prime time is. Think of prime time in the same way that television and radio has prime time. Prime time in America is between 7 p.m. and about 9 p.m., maybe even up to 10. That's prime time, right? Whether it's Eastern time and so on, that's prime time. That means that's the time at which most people are sitting down watching TV. I understand it's 2022, which means most people are not exactly sitting down and watching TV, because between streaming services and recording, it makes it harder, but you get my point. That prime time is important. That's when advertisers are going to spend the most amount of money on television shows and news shows as well. So number one, make sure that you know your prime time. So I know what my prime time is. Number two, it's very important for you to figure out the things that you need to accomplish for the day. Very important. Know the things that you want and need to accomplish for the day. And then figure out what the priority order is. So today, this was one of my priorities, making sure that this video was produced and put together for you. That's a huge priority. But we also set it up in the time of the day when my energy is not at its lowest. You probably don't want me recording a video and having this discussion with you at my lowest point in energy, do you? You want me at my highest point in energy. So for me, that's really important. So the first thing that we talked about is knowing what your prime time looks like. And number two is making sure you have a very clear idea of what the most important things are. And here's the third, final, and most important piece, at least I think it's the most important piece. Have grace. And I mean have grace towards yourself. We tend to set really high expectations for ourselves, which is fantastic. But sometimes those high expectations show up as a checklist of 100 things that we need to accomplish today or this week or this month. The truth is, most of those things are nowhere near important. And when we fail to take care of some of those things, we can be really, really hard on ourselves. So when I look at my productivity and I look at my day, I'm going to ask myself, what needs to fall into my prime time? What are the most important things that I need to work on? And what am I going to do to make sure that I'm not going to be so hard on myself when I fail to meet every single expectation that I have? To recap, here are the 3 things that I want you to focus on as you work on your own productivity. Number one, make sure that you know what your prime time is. What are those prime time hours that will help you accomplish the most because your energy is at the highest? Number two, ask yourself, of all the things that you need to work on that day, what is the most important thing that you need to do? And third, make sure that you have a very, very clear idea of how you're going to take care of yourself and have enough grace for yourself in the moments where you are not able to be as productive as you want it to be. Because until we're able to do those three basic things, productivity is always going to elude us. And that's something I don't want you to go through. It's very important for you to have a clear vision of where you want to be. I want these tips to get you there. Thank you for joining me in this discussion. I look forward to seeing you in another video. Have a good day.